is they're gonna come and again, correct me if you know, this is not making sense. They're gonna speak to the municipal court judges. There's gonna be where the judge is gonna say, okay, you haven't addressed the citation, this letter, what's going on? Again, I'm not trying to tell the judge what he's gonna do, but that's the idea. And there's gonna be more than one opportunity for them to come and say, this is why, or whatever the reason may be. On the other end is we go through this, and I think what the other side is, we go through these, as Julian maybe alluded to, we go through these processes, and then what we run into is nothing ever happens. And so what happens is, what I get at least on the other end is, we get the folks that are trying to keep their area clean or whatever, and those are the folks that are complaining and saying, why haven't you told these guys to do whatever? And that's where we get into that you know, who's right or wrong, right? And so I think they're gonna have their opportunity, the way this is written, to come to the staff, come to the judge, come to the council, and say, hey, look, this is a reason that I haven't done this, or whatever the case may be. And that way there's enough due diligence on all of us, so we're all aware, particularly on the junk vehicles, and when we're taking property, I say taking property, when we're removing junk vehicles. I think the witty lots are kind of whatever, but on junk vehicles and dilapidated structures where somebody could say, hey, you're knocking down my pride of possession maybe, those are things, yes, that we're gonna have to involve the judge, involve the council, so you guys are aware that, yes, we've done our due diligence, and we're all gonna give a yea or nay on what needs to get done.
And to that point, as we go through, it'll be documentable. You know, if we do a condemn the structure and take it down, we'll have in that file certified notes. I mean, that's certified letters.
I just wanted to make sure that everybody gets served correctly and fairly. I'm all for this ordinance to take place, but we have to make sure that we do it right, and we do give them sufficient time, and when we do serve them with paperwork, that it's done sufficiently.
Certainly, very, very, very good point. Anybody else have any comments on it? So please look this over, and be prepared if you've got anything that you'd like to address, because then this is what this is for you guys to give your input and make sure it's copacetic with all these things. We want to clean up our city, but we want to give everybody a chance to move it or clean it or refurbish it if it's so needed. All right, folks. Well, again, that is just for discussion purposes. So, moving on to the really exciting point of our council meeting is our staff report. Chief, you are up first, and you're welcome to speak as much as you want regarding this, or questions to the council.
Anything you want to announce, Chief, as far as the answer things y'all are doing? I know you mentioned that adoption, but anything else?
Yeah, so like I said, we did have an adoption program in place that they're coming and helping us out. I was in contact with the program director. We're gonna do this more often. Again, this is free of charge. This is no agreement with the city or anything. They're doing it out of their own hearts. They're actually adopting the animals from the city, and they're following the guidelines that we have in place. And they in turn go out there and advertise and try to adopt them, look for people that want to adopt them. Not only Frio County, all over the areas. They come from Cotulla, San Antonio, I believe Pleasanton, and Floresville. And like I said, they're getting the word out there. They're animal lovers, so they're really helping us out. On top of that, I explained to you all that I was looking for grants. I told you all I would look for some grants for tasers. I submitted the first application today. I'm gonna produce it to the city manager so y'all can review it. Once it goes through the process and I finally get submission, then it'll go to you all for approval so we can move on with it. But I found something, so I'm excited. Hopefully, we get to the point where we present it to y'all. That's all I have.
I have a question.
Yes,
So
Councilwoman.
what exactly is the adoption process? I mean, do you require anything of the person that's gonna be adopting the animal?
Yes, what I can do, it's pretty lengthy, so I can send you everyone here. I'll send it to Crystal so you can see the guidelines. There's like for example, after a certain amount of time, you gotta make sure they have their shots. You gotta make sure that you're neutered. If they fall within the certain guidelines, I'll send you all a copy of it so y'all can be privy of that.
I did go to the Tractor Supply when they did adoptions, and I
Oh,
had,
that's who that was?
Yeah.
'Cause I
That
saw it
was,
posted.
yeah, that was a third party, yes.
yeah,
yes.
so I did go, a cousin of mine did adopt a little white furry, like schnauzer looking
Mhm.
one. And they live in Catula, but she's a nurse here at the hospital. They did adopt it, and you have to sit down, fill out an application, there's an interview process. I think they were the ones providing the first sets of shots, and
And they, I think they charge you $275 for the neutering and
yeah,
stuff.
so
Again,
not
that's-
just, they're not just
that-
giving
that's a
away
side
the
piece.
animals,
Mhm.
there's an adoption fee, like a rehoming fee for these animals. And then I think she was given a voucher for neutering,
Yes.
the animal, so it's just not like, let's just go pick up a pet and then leave it in the street. Cause they have to pay some money in order to take it, and then they sit down, it's like the Humane Society.
Exactly,
You
yes.
sit down and they're gonna ask you questions, where are you gonna keep your animal, what do y'all do you know that these animals may bite, just little questions like that.
And with that, somebody came and said, if y'all pick up the chickens, we'll pick them up. This farmer wanted them, so, we can look at something like that.
Well, they already made their way to Margot Drive.
I can see city council competition, catching those chickens. That might be fun to watch. Maybe sell tickets. We've got our financial report on page 181. Any questions? We've got our financial department head here. So, any questions there on that? We've also got the city clerk report, public library report. You guys, these folks do take some time to fill this out. It is good to look it over. I hope you will. I have invited the municipal judge to come. Last week, the last time the council instructed me to ask the municipal judge about some reports, and it was our fault because those reports were double-sided, and we didn't pick that up in our packet, so some of the reports weren't reflected on there, and so invited the judge to come if you guys want to look through that and answer any questions about what's happening. I know there was a question also about establishing some specific dates of the month for court. So the judge is available for any questions you guys may have on his report. But we do apologize about them not getting the full report in there for the council to see, but that was the catalyst. We just didn't pick up the back page, which had a lot of the data on it.
Judge, that was my question that day, because there was not sufficient of materials on there. But I still would like to sit down with you one day, just to go over it and, more detail. I'm not a micromanager, I just love reading reports. And, so, just like we asked questions on the other departments as well, so.
Sure.
A question came up, and that's why I emailed you back, individually, so.
Yeah, and I welcome any questions y'all might have. I'm more than willing to answer the questions. I've been trying to work a lot on, with Mr. Reyes has been trying to take care of all the, previous records that we have dogpiled at the library. They're doing a real good job doing that. But through our court, we've implemented the community service, which a lot more people are getting involved to try to take care of their citations. That way they can come to a conclusion and close it. And then at the end of the 5th year, the records retention, hey, you can do away with it. You don't have to keep it, for anything else that's pending. So far as trying to close the jackets, citation cases and other ones from, prior years, that's one of our main concerns. It's like the mayor said, we got a lot of fires we're trying to put out. So far as your city ordinances, yes, and I am trying to start working on having open court. That's the only way that we can do, the hearings for the dilapidated buildings and stuff. But it's work in progress. We need to make sure that our T's are crossed and our I's are dotted, because by the time we go to court, a case like that, we might have to postpone and reschedule. Because hey, we lack something, or the notification wasn't done properly, so forth and so on. But so far, everything else has been going really good. We had a meeting, the mayor, city manager, the chief, Bobby, and the prosecutor, and we came up with a good solution. Bobby mentioned that hey, so far as like the high weed city ordinance, we could implement city ordinance that they have in other cities and said, hey, first time offense, we can allow the $25 compliance fee instead of the full fine amount. And so long as they show proof, they cleaned the yard or whatever the case may be, and they keep up with it. Now, the second time is totally different. And at least we have a track record, you know what I'm saying? Hey, this person's been cited the first time. Hey, he did comply, he cleaned it up, and charged him, you know, which I think that might be in that city ordinance now. You know, it's work in progress, you know, and, we're all trying to work in the same direction to make it happen. You know, because there's a lot of residents and buildings that do need to get addressed. And so far as your your dog, we actually had to put our heads together because we had a situation where it was vicious dogs, and ACO and I think the chief's captain and the lieutenant came by and said, "Hey, Judge, we need to remove these dogs. What can we do?" We sent Miss Denise an email and said, "Hey, we need to set up a hearing, you know, because there's steps that you have to do before you can pick up that dog, unless the person gives it up voluntarily." So we had a meeting. I said, "Hey, you know, me personally, it's just my recommendation. Hey, give them a day because it's their pets. You know, a lot of pets, they're like family to people. But the situation is, it's gotten to that point where it's been deemed a vicious animal, and we have to do something with the city because it becomes a liability. So I would recommend go back the next day. Hey, once they've had 24 hours, talk to them and let them know, hey, look, you know, it's a problem. It be to your best interest to, you know, surrender voluntarily." And hold and behold, that person did. So we didn't have to do the serving of the paperwork. We didn't have to have a hearing, and the issue got resolved, you know. So, so far, we've all been doing really good, you know, putting our heads together, coming up with solutions, so. You know, with that said, any other questions y'all have? Yes, sir.
How's the truancy, student truancy court?
We've had quite a bit of truancy court, and the problem there, Councilman, is that back in 2015, 2016, truancy got decriminalized, okay? It became more of a civil issue. And the mayor and the city manager, and we've been talking about that, and I've been communicating with the city as well. I mean, not the city, but the school. I said, hey, here's a diagram of what the school is required by law before you can do a referral to the municipal court for truancy court. And they've been real good about that. However, we haven't had as much as the percentage rate of truancy presence. I mean, they're still continuing to do it because the parents are contributing to it. So now, once they come to me, and I've already talked to juvenile probation, because you said before we could do the referral to them. But again, since they decriminalized it back in 2015 and 2016, it only becomes civil. So what I'm doing now is, the first time they come in, we explain it to them and what they need to do to complete the court order and judgment that the prosecutor has recommended. Now, the second time, more than likely what we're gonna do, because it's only civil now, mind you, it's not criminal. If they have a license, we will probably do the recommendation for DPS to invalidate their license, because that's the civil aspect of it. And then the burden is back on that parent, because if you wanna continue to allow that child to drive, next time the PD pulls them over, chances are your vehicle's gonna get towed. Now you're gonna have to deal with the towing service, the impoundment, and so forth and so on. Because basically back in 2015-16, the legislators put it back on the school. They implemented, hey, some type of community service in-house, the programs, the ACE program, FLEX, just other programs in there that they should be implementing first before it's referred to us. But that's where we're at, and actually we're scheduled to have truancy court on the 21st of February.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, counsel. You have any other questions for the judge? Judge, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for your time.
All right, folks, with that, we've got bills. I think, Fred, or something.
I just like to acknowledge the water department on, I guess, really got excited getting 35 years of service and all that, you know. Ezequiel Vasquez, 10 years, and then, of course, Jesse Velasquez really got excited being elected as member to the Texas Water Utility Association, you know, so just wanna acknowledge them. Doing a great job.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Well done. We've got some really talented staff, we're blessed. Hector, Fred, city clerk, Bianca, everybody, well done. So with that, we've got bills, and I see we've got a new fire truck, Fred, excited about that?
Yeah, we're excited, we're excited. Chief is, he's not here, but I think we got some Forest Service, that was a truck that he's gotten, he hadn't gotten the brand new one,
Yeah,
but he's gotten.
I saw it sitting out there
Yeah,
back.
so he does, if you had a chance to go look at that, it's a pretty nice little addition to what they have.
Okay, well that, any questions on the bills?
None.
None, okay, well, the most coveted item on the agenda is
Motion.
the adjournment.
Motion.
There is a motion by Councilwoman Rodriguez, there's a second by Councilwoman Hernandez. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And we are adjourned at 7:18.